You got some gum in your mouth? You want to spit that out for me, cowboy? Oh my God, you just...
God, we have a child in the building.
I've only spit out gum once in my life. And I chew probably 10 pieces a day.
You swallow your gum. Do you poo it out?
No, it just dissolves.
Do you have sticky poo?
No.
How do you know you don't poo it out?
Because I've never seen it, like corn.
Do you check?
Yes.
Is there ever like stretch?
Is it in a bubble? Is your poo encompassed in a bubble?
Do you think it's still in your body? Is that what we're getting to?
It can't be. It's literally 10 pieces a day. All 46.
You
46
swallow all your... Why don't you spit it out?
10
The
pieces
one
a
day
day
I
times
spit it out.
365 times 46 years. How do we do this?
Maybe not 10 a day, but sometimes it's 10 a day. The one time I spit it out, I still remember it. It was so bizarre to me. It's weird.
I mean, I guess we swallow all kinds of weird stuff. Why
I
wouldn't
spit the
gum?
gum out, and I don't know, I didn't feel satisfied. I felt weird.
You eat it. Like
Do
you
you-
actually eat your gum.
I swallowed it, it's gone.
Is it completely like flavored where you have to taste it? Like it's eating food to you?
Yes. Because I'll chew it for a little while and I'll swallow it. So I have pieces all in my pocket.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm going to move this a little closer.
I'm telling you, I can't throw out gum. I can't spit it out.
All right.
Well, we'll just lead into it and keep it going.
Yeah.
Episode 17, Shifting Focus. We have an amazing guest again. We have the #1 expert in the Baton Rouge area, landscape contractor,
Yes.
Rusty McGehee.
Rusty McGehee, glad to be here.
SRP Landscaping.
Used
Yes.
to be DNL Landscaping. Let's talk about that story. But first, I want to hear how you got into all of this.
Growing up in a restaurant with my parents. So I did that from 7 to 18, I believe. I think it was 7 to 18. They sold. Right when my dad sold, he needed another job, so he went and worked in a prison, which that was interesting. He knew somebody that was hiring at a prison, so he got a job there. A couple months later, he got me on. That was a 14th month learning experience about human beings.
Wow.
It's a whole different world.
What'd you do in prison?
I was just a correctional officer. I ended up being a sergeant, and I loved it. But I worked nights, didn't make much money, and it is dangerous. But and I saw some weird, very weird things.
Want to talk about some of them? What'd you
Is there
see?
anything you could publicly talk about that's weird going on?
I mean, you just see a lot of fights, and then you learn how to. It humbles you as American, not as American, but as a human being, and as a man, especially that you're in there. It was 2 of us in there with you're in dorms, probably 300 men. So it's 2 against 300. So at any moment,
yeah,
you know, they can do what they want with you. You have a beeper, you don't have a weapon, and you're hoping somebody comes in when you hit that beeper. Usually they will, but it's still 5 or 10 guys that are running after you. So you're in there by yourself for a while.
Did you ever have to hit the beeper?
We did a couple times on fights, but not for attacking us.
Okay.
Did you ever think that maybe they were fighting just so someone could
They
sneak up
do
behind
that.
you?
They'll start fights and to do other things or to do that. But I learned I can get along with everybody, no matter their color, man, woman, it doesn't matter. I've always been able to get along with everybody. Rich, poor, low income, high income. I can blend in with everybody and respect everybody. So I learned that at the end. And I guess with the restaurant, I learned to get along with people with customer service.
People skills.
People skills. Like I said, it don't matter if you don't have $5 to your name, or I've met people that have hundreds of millions to their name. I can get along with all of them. I can blend in. So anyway, did that for a while, and I loved it. But the shift work and the low pay, it got old. So brother-in-law was working at a plant, making good money, and he got me on as an electrician, just as a helper. At that time, I was making, I think I started out at $7.85 an hour. This was in 96, I guess.
Ballin'.
Yeah, that was good money back then, huh?
Yeah, well, it was better than I was making at the prison.
Yeah.
Because you got the opportunity to make overtime, which me being a workaholic is great, because I'll work 84 hours a week.
Uh-huh.
Right? I have no problem doing that. It was very long story short, within a couple months, they saw I was a good worker, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I got a raise right away. I kept getting raises. Before I knew it, I was up to $13, $14, $15 an hour. Anyway, so I did that for, I'd say 12, well, no, I guess 10 years, 2006, 2007. I did that, and I was making very good money. I was bumped up to supervisor. And I loved it, but I got burned out on it at the time. I was tired. I didn't want to be stuck in a plant the rest of my life, like I see everybody else is. And you had to work overtime to really make a really good living. Needless to say, I got hurt. So I was out on short-term disability.
What was your injury in the plant?
What happened at the plant?
I was actually in an office working, because like I said, by the time I got into supervision, when I got hurt at that time, so I was drilling in a metal cabinet with a wood screw with no glasses on. Of course, that screw, if you know anything about screws, that little 1-inch wood screw does not want to go into metal. But I was forcing it into the metal, and it popped out, obviously, and it didn't just hit, it hit my eye and stuck.
Like your eyeball?
Yes, my left eye. So I'm sitting there, and I got a black screw doing this. I'm doing this. So I literally took the screw, and I unscrewed it.
Lucy.
Ah!
Yeah, it makes me sick thinking about it. But
Were you just in shock? You couldn't feel it, or did you feel it?
no, I felt it, but I was scared. I knew the whole time I said, I'm going to lose my eye. That's the only thing that was going to my thought, my brain. So I unscrewed it. As soon as I unscrewed it, obviously it just started pouring water. You know, your eyeball's made of liquid or water. Started pouring. And now, after I found out, that's the worst thing you could have done. But I tell everybody that told me that, including my wife, have a screw stuck in your eye and tell me you're not going to take it out. That's your first reaction. You want to take it out.
At least you didn't yank it out. The fact that you unscrewed it out.
I tried, and it wouldn't. So I just did that a couple of times, and it screwed out.
And your wife is a nurse practitioner. So she's giving you
tighten it.
Right. That would have been terrible. So I did that, and then it started pouring. And now to come to find out after, that's how a lot of people lose their eye, because it drains out and it doesn't. So I don't know how I didn't lose it. So anyway, went to the hospital, had emergency surgery. She sewed me up. I think it was a 3 or 4 hour eye surgery. So didn't know if I was going to lose it or not for 6 months, because I had a cataract. She told me I was going to have a cataract for 6 months. So I had to have an eye patch for 6 months. So I didn't know if I was going to lose it or not for 6 months, really, because you couldn't tell, because it was all from the cataracts. But she did say she did good. She thought it was going to be okay. 6 months later, had a cataract, pulled the lens out, put a new lens in. Vision was great.
You are so blessed.
It was so bizarre. So 6 months I was on short-term disability. And during that 6 months, I had a lot of time, obviously, to evaluate my life and think about things. Mother died during all this. So that was like I said, I could really evaluate everything. I said, I'm not going back to the plant. I just can't do it. So I had a $800 Murray mower, which at the time was a lot of money. It was just a regular mower, wasn't a zero turn. Mowing my yard. And that's when somebody asked me, she lost her lawn care guy for whatever reason, said, would you like to come do it? $40 yard. I said, sure, I'll do it. Drove all the way to Baton Rouge. Now I live in Zachary, everybody knows that. So that's 30 minutes away. $40 yard, it didn't even make sense. I said, I'll go do it. I mowed her yard. She loved it. Great job. Please stay on, do my yard. And then I want to say that visit or the next visit, her neighbor asked me, would you mow this yard? I said, why not? I'm already here. I'll mow it. $40 more, $50. Mowed it. She said, got through mowing. She said, well, do you trim bushes? No, I don't, but I'm going to do it like somebody else says. Don't turn it down. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Trimmed their bushes, probably made $50 to $100. I can't even remember. I was so ecstatic. I felt like I made $1 million. She said I did great, but on the other side of town, my aunt lives there. She's an older senior citizen. She needs somebody. Did that. And the first woman come back. So we have a rent house. It needs to be taken care of. So all this happened within a week or two, literally. I was like, a light bulb went off in my head. I said, I can really make it in this business. So I started doing that. Like I said, it wasn't a couple weeks, maybe. I had 27, I think it was 25 or 27 yards.
In 2 weeks?
It was quick.
That's amazing.
It was really, really
quick. You must have been doing a good job, too.
And I was doing a great job.
And them seeing you out there is like good marketing in itself. They're like, oh, let's go ask that guy.
Right. And you see people, they stop you there. They ask their neighbor, did he do a good job? The price was good. And they say yes. And then they hire you. So I did all that. I guess it was summer or two. And then all of a sudden it turned into, I was counting one day, it was 97 yards. And I was by myself. I think by the next year. Then I was doing fall cleanup. And I was making a really good living. By the time then the short-term disability has ran out. So I said, I'm not going back to work, which was a big step. That was scary. But But my wife worked too, so I wasn't only income. By then, she was a nurse. So, we had income coming in, insurance and all that. So I did that. And like I said, before I knew it, I had 97 accounts. I would get a couple of helpers. And I really loved my job. And it was good money. Speaking of somebody that you just heard Michael saying about his grandpa helping him with a mower, I didn't have $3,000 before all this. My mower finally died. Driving down the road, it was on the trailer. The whole steering wheel or something come off. I remember the whole hood. I had wore it out so bad for a year. It was destroyed because I was doing so much mowing on a regular homeowner's mower. So I went to my in-laws, and they gave me $3,000 to go buy my first, a loan to go buy my first zero-turn mower. Just got rid of that mower probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I should have kept it, but I got rid of it for $300. So I had it for probably 10 years. I didn't even use it anymore to sit there. So they gave me $3,000, went and bought a mower. I don't even think it was 2 or 3 months later, I gave him $3,000 back. It was that quick. Here's the envelope, $3,000. I paid it off right away.
That's great. Just make it back.
Right. So I gave it right back to him. Did that, built up commercial accounts.
How'd you go from doing regular lawns to commercial accounts?
I did buy a couple commercial accounts from a friend. He was selling his business with some commercial mowers. That's what got me into it. I bought all for, I think it was $10,000.
Was it hard to make that investment in yourself? Like, did you talk yourself out the whole time? Like, I can't afford this. I don't know how we're going to do it. Or what went through your head?
It was hard in a sense because $10,000 obviously is a lot of money, but it came with, I want to say 2 mowers and a couple commercial accounts.
So in your mind, you were thinking this can pay for itself.
It can pay for itself just with the commercial accounts. Needless to say, it's been 12 years and I still have one of them accounts.
Wow.
It's a Tractor Supply store. I still have it. So I've made my money back well over that 10,000. Probably turning at 10,000 really into a lot, but at least 100 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that from him. That got me into it. Got me the 2 or 3 mowers and some other small things. Got my confidence up, obviously, that I know I can do this. There was a couple of big neighborhoods, which I ended up letting go because they just wasn't worth it eventually. After the contracts ran out, I didn't want to renew. But I kept that one store still. 2013, doing all that, making good money, happy. I was at that plateau too, though. Michael was just talking about, making 100, 200 grand a year. Happy, great. But I kept thinking back in my mind, even back then, I'm gonna have to work for the rest of my life for that $100,000, $200,000 a year, whatever it was. Most of it was cash, so that's great. 2013, I got a phone call. Right before that, I put my mechanic at the lawnmower shop, Carl. I was asking him, how do I get like the big companies that he services? He said, Rusty, put your name on Angie's list. Just do it. I said, okay, I did it. It was a week later after I doing that, I got a phone call from a guy from Atlanta, and I almost didn't answer because the Atlanta phone call thought it was a scam. So I answered it. Stopped mowing. I was on Fenwood and Zachary mowing the yard. I will never forget it. And he said, so and so. I own we do government contracts from Atlanta. We own a big lawn care business here. Would you go put in a bid on 2 big national cemeteries? I need a bid. I had no idea how to bid a cemetery. I couldn't even fathom that.
But you said yes.
Said yes. I said, I'll go put the bid in. Not only thinking the whole time this is a scam, some kind of way they're scamming me. Because how did you find me? And then that's what he told me, Angie's List. He said, I was popping up lawn care business and I found your name on Angie's List. You had some good reviews or something. I said, okay, maybe that's not a scam. I'll go waste a couple hours of my time. It won't cost me anything but gas to go do these bids, not knowing how to do them. I'm gonna guess. I think that was September of 2013. The contracts are starting October of 2013. They're 5-year contracts, and it was life-changing money for me in the business and for my family to get these contracts. I mean, it was a big step.
Did they negotiate your bid at all, or did they say you underbid, overbid?
No, I literally spent a day at both cemeteries by myself, just guessed, literally guessed. Just throw it out there and see what happens. Still not knowing if this was a scam or not. I didn't know how he could be scamming me because I just thought it was too good to be true.
Sure.
I really did. So I Googled him and I said, wait, they're all legit. They're a legit company. I want to say the next week, maybe not even the next week, a couple of days later, I gave him prices on every line item. Like I said, just guessing. I don't know how to dig a grave.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do graves. I'm not a grave digger. So I gave him all this. No, first, I told him, let me rerun. That's incorrect. I told him I didn't know how to dig a grave. I don't even know how to bid that out. I don't know how to do that. I said, I'm going to give you a price on everything else except for the digging the graves. Because he even said, well, I have a grave company we can use to dig the graves in that area. I said, fine. That made me happy because literally we have to weed eat 20,000 headstones every week. And we have to mow 25 acres a week. Me from mowing 97 yards with a couple mowers and a couple helpers to that is a big,
Sure.
and you have to do it. If he says start October 1st, you have to do it October 1st. It's not going to take a month. You got to do it that week.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I couldn't do burials and all that. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I couldn't do it. Let's put it that way. But I didn't have the confidence. Gave him the price. He calls him back a week later. You got it. It's like, what am I going to do now?
Like, oh my gosh.
I said, oh my God. I called my wife, Kat. I said, we got it. It's life-changing money. It's like winning the lottery for a low income, at the time. So then obviously the nerve set. I said, I can't do this.
Questioning.
So I called my friend, my neighbor.
The doubts that start settling in.
I could get the labor because he did work release. So I could get all the labor I wanted. So I called him. I said, I need a contract. I need 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 guys immediately. I can teach them how to weed eat. We're good on that and mowing and all that.
Did you have to buy all equipment too, or did they come with their own equipment?
No equipment, none whatsoever. I went to another family member, my godfather, that is a business owner in Zachary. And I said, I need a loan. Can you help me? He said, yes. He gave me $10,000 cash. And I probably could have went and got the loan, but it was such a quick time. I needed it right then. He gave me $10,000. I went and bought a couple more machines, trailer, some other small things. And I think it was a month later, or 2 or 3 months later, I got paid. I went, gave him his money back immediately. So, and that was 2013. So it's supposed to start October 1st, 2013. We went into a government shutdown that week. So it stopped it. It delayed it to November 1st. So we which gave me a month to prepare. So it was, in a sense, it was good, I guess. It was a blessing. So November 1st, we started instead of October 1st. So we did lose that monthly income, which I was mad about. But like I said, it gave me a month to prepare. November 1st, we went in. I went to the smaller cemetery first with 6, 7 guys. We did it all in a day. My contractor, my prime contractor, I was subbed. He got a phone call from the director, and the director said, you can't do that. What is, you can't do that. He said, what do you mean? He said, Rusty, at the time, it was DNL, Lawn Care, our name. He said, they came in and did it all in a day at the Baton Rouge Cemetery. He said, okay, does it look good? He said, it looks amazing. He said, well, what is the problem? This is the director of the government, a government employee, our main boss. He said, what is the problem? He said, we've never had anybody come in here and do it in a day. You just can't do that. He said, does it look great? He said, it looks amazing. Is there anything wrong? He said, no, it's perfect. It's 8 acres, 5,300 headstones. He said, well, I don't understand what the problem is. It just you can't do it in a day.
We need to make it look like more work almost.
Well, no, he's like, he was impressed because the last 30 years they had the same contract and it took them all week. It was him and one other guy, and it took them all week. They were used to that.
Change is hard for people.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So we did it all in a day. We're done for the week there. Now, obviously, you go to the other cemetery, it's a lot bigger. It's an all week thing because it's more maintenance and then all that stuff. To wrap that up on this section, I watched the company he hired doing the burials, and I watched them for 6 months, from November, March, April, maybe. They were terrible at their job. And I sat back and watched them. I literally studied them. How to do a grave from start to finish. How do they prepare, talk to the family? How do they do this? And all I did was focus on them while I was mowing, because I mowed the whole time, personally mowed, while all my other guys were weed eating. And I just kept watching them the whole time. And I said, I'm going to learn this. And I found out how much they were getting paid. And I started adding up from November to March. They've done 30 barrels, let's just say. And I said, that's all that money I could have made. And they were terrible.
How much does it cost to do for average?
At least $1,000 at least.
Okay. So there was 30 grand you left on the table.
And I was like, this, and then the contractor's buying all the machines. I don't have to buy all the, at the time, I had to buy the excavators, expensive machines and all that. So there was nothing out of pocket. It's just labor. And I was like, that's 3 hours, 4 hours. And then needless to say, I was the supervisor for this contractor. So these guys literally were, it was terrible. They were doing a bad job. I had to answer to all that. I had to hear about it. I said, well, something's not making sense. I'm having to hear about it from the government. The director, he's mad. And I talked to my contractor about it all day long on the phone. I had to try to deal with these guys and be their boss, which I'm not, because they're a contractor, a subbed out. I'm making nothing for this. No, I can't do it. So I studied them. I watched what they were doing, good and bad. And I called him. I said, you got it. We're done. I can't do it. If they stay, I got to go. He said, no, they got to go. Who's going to do the graves? I said, I'm going to do the graves. Give me my machine over here. Next day, I think we had a barrel. And I did. It was flawless. That's been since March or April of 2014 till today, and we still have the contract.
10 years.
Yes.
That's impressive.
10 years. Like I said, I love it. I really do. I love my job out there. I take a lot of pride in it. My dad was a veteran.
It's a veteran cemetery?
Yeah, they're all national cemeteries for the government, not state, they're federal. I really take pride in it. I love it. And we have it now where it's kind of running on itself with the right crew. And with me being obviously a supervisor, I don't have to go out there. Like today, I don't have to be there. They're taking care of it. And we do it all. I don't sub anybody out for anything out there anymore, from janitorial to setting headstones to cleaning them to the grass to all the barrels. And I think they're very confident with me. I think they're happy. I don't hear any complaints. So that's how that started. During the meantime of doing that, I wanted to step out to other things, to landscaping, to bigger landscape projects, to bigger commercial projects and mowing. So I started slowly these last couple of years stepping out and doing more and more landscaping and commercial projects. And I've got a few. This last year, I really stepped up and my income went up a lot.
What did you do different? When you say you stepped up, took on, what did you do?
I stepped away from the cemetery so I could take the landscape and hired another crew. I was trying to let the cemetery run itself.
You had it buttoned up where it needed to be.
Buttoned up, and I'm happy with it. And I think everybody's happy with it for the most part. And it allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and start doing the landscaping, which I really enjoyed this last year, 2023.
What kind of services are you offering in the landscaping? What were you doing different?
Just more of, like I said, the bigger landscape projects, new construction. I stepped out and said, I can do this. And
like mulch and
I had to make
trees.
time. I had to make my time for myself and hire and put people around me that wanted to work and was showing up every day. And I knew I could do it and make great money and then make everybody happy. And I really love my job.
So you went from mowing and upkeeps to actually design and putting in everything now.
Correct. To either new construction or redoing older flower beds, that complete demo. Let's restart after 5 or 10 years or whatever. The house has been there. So that's where I'm at that point.
What was your income like when you first started to then you got to the government to then landscape? How much did you scale?
$40 first house.
Yeah, I mean, I went from literally $40 at first house to, probably making 100, 200 grand, which is great when you're by yourself because you don't have your overhead or
First
you
year.
have one helper. It's really great income. I mean, it really is. You can make a really good living doing lawn care if you want to work. You have to work 7 days a week
in the sun,
dark to dark. When it rains, there's no vacation. I remember we used to take a vacation once a year for 3 or 4 days, And it was almost miserable to me because to try to take off 3 or 4 days, let's say in July, the busiest growing season of the year, if you don't have anybody that can do your job for you, if I'm the one doing it or with a helper, we would have to, it would take me 2 to 3 weeks to prepare to take off for 4 days.
Because you felt like your work was getting backed up while you were
You
gone.
can't let them yards go.
Mm.
If you got to catch up. So if I'm doing the yard on Monday, I know now I'm going to call the people and say, listen, I'm going to come do it on Friday or Saturday and Sunday because I can't be here next week. God forbid it rains, which it always rains in Louisiana. It was a disaster. And then for the 3 days you're gone on vacation, trying to enjoy yourself with your time with your family and all that and just relax. All I'm thinking about is when I get back on that Sunday, what I have to do to catch up for these 4 days that I missed.
Yeah.
And it's going to rain. So it's just terrible.
Yeah.
So
You can't enjoy your vacation at that point.
It's really
Because
difficult.
you're thinking of something else the whole time.
So when I got back the next week, all long care people are probably, if you're doing this, especially by yourself, you can remember these days, especially if you've gotten bigger. The next week coming home, you're working 12 dark to dark to catch up for them through. It's just terrible.
Mhm.
Whenever it rains and all that.
So you went from $40 a yard to 100 to 200,000 a year. 10 years later, what do you think you were pulling?
I've done over $1 million a year with everything.
Okay.
Awesome.
Gross.
From $40 from screwing your eye, $40 to that.
From working in a plant, small town, starting your own business, to 10 times scaling your brand.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It really is.
To just doing it.
Yeah.
And that's with me by myself.
Solo. So
For
now,
the most part. And,
Uh-huh.
and let me rewind. I have to mention Kathy. There was, and there still is, plenty of times where my wife, Kathy, would, she works shift work and she'll come home. And when I first started, she was on the mower with me
Oh, nice.
on her days off and her shift work, mowing nonstop.
Supported and helped you the whole time.
Nonstop mowing. And then even now to today, and she makes very good money. She's worked her behind off to get where she's at. She'll get out there on the mower and come help me, especially our neighborhood contract we have. She'll get out there on the mower and help and
It's amazing.
not think nothing of it. She'll mow for 6 hours straight and for free. Not like she's not getting a check. I mean, she's making money in a way. Obviously, she's benefiting, but she's not getting a check like a regular employee. I don't know. Without her, I don't think I would be where I'm at professionally. Definitely anything else in my life, I wouldn't be where I'm at. But I don't think professionally I'd be where I'm at if it wouldn't be for her helping in the early days. When I couldn't do it by myself, couldn't pay a helper, or you can't rely on a helper. I needed somebody for free that was good. And boom, on her
She
day
was
off,
available.
she worked 12 hours, worked 24 hours, 16 hours. Kids are at school. Let's go mow.
None of us can do what we do without the right woman behind us.
I still remember this day, y'all. I'll never forget it. I know I will. She probably don't remember about it. She definitely doesn't know I remember it. We pulled up to a house in Baton Rouge. I still remember where the house is at. It's been years. And it was raining. We did their front yard. You could do their front yard, but their backyard had a fence, and you couldn't get a mower back there when it was raining because it was wet. So, and I think it was the last yard of the day. And I said, we started the front, or about to start the front. And I said, well, let's just, I have to come back. It's wet. Can't do it. Shit. No, we're not. So we'll get out there and we're going to weed eat the backyard.
Weed eat the backyard.
Yeah. What's the point of leaving?
Yeah.
Let's get it
Whole
done.
thing. Yeah.
And then, cause at the time I was getting, and I'm a hard worker. I'm gonna wait. I'll just come back. So you're going to come back for a yard, or you're going to skip it. So you're losing 40, I think it was $50 this yard. You're going to lose that $50 in cash when we're already here. Got back and I said, you know what? She motivated me enough. I got in the backyard and I started freaking weed eating.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not even saying she did it, but she made me, in a sense, get out. She motivated me to get out and do the yard. So of course, when I finished doing the yard's done. I don't have to worry about it looking high next week with the rain. We got in the truck. I'm gonna get paid, obviously, and I feel good.
You
The
have to
yard
come
is
back,
done.
use your
So
time.
that's what she does to me.
Yeah, she pushes.
So that's great. So like I said, there's no way I would be where I'm at without her. There's no way. And not just like I said in the marriage part or the life, just in the professional part with the lawn care. There's no way. It's impossible.
How did she feel when you told her you were going to leave the electrician job to start this new company?
I don't think it was. I think she knew I was done. I was unhappy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back. I see all the older men there. Great, they can make a great living for their family, but they're working. If you want, like I said, if you want to make a really good income, you have to work a lot of overtime. I didn't want to be 60, 70 years old out there living. I just didn't want to do it. I think I would be miserable right now. I really do. I think I'd be really depressed and miserable. I didn't want to do it. And if I had to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Did you guys have kids yet at this point?
We had my daughter, and now because I remember. They had a time limit where you can work for safety. You can only work 13 days straight at the time at Exxon where I was working. And you had to take a day off on that every other Sunday. It was for safety, for getting hurt, because you're working long days. And one job, I found a little loophole where I would get off this job, I'd go talk to another supervisor, and I'd go work on this job. And I did that. It was 83 days straight.
Oh my God.
And they finally found out about it. And they weren't happy because it's a safety risk. But I did that. Now, we're talking about 12, 14, 16-hour days now. We're not talking about 8-hour days. I never did that. And I worked. I didn't take breaks. So they found the loophole, and they were kind of mad about it. You got to take off. But that's the type of person I was. So I remember the first 6 months of my daughter's life, for the most part, it was from dark to dark. I'd see her in the morning. She's sleeping. And then I'd come home, she was sleeping. I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I didn't have to.
Just the grind.
Right.
It's interesting because I think most women, when you're in that situation, you have young kids at home, to do a job shift, it takes a lot of, she must really believe in you and love you and support you enough to say, I don't want you doing this anymore. Sounds like a good opportunity for your mental health, your physical health. Some people would just stay in that comfort zone of, oh, don't do it. We have a kid. What do you think helped her?
Well, I think her being at the time she was a nurse, and obviously she carried our insurance. She made a nice check every month, every week. So as far as paying our bills, we've never lived way above our means. So that's never been an issue. And then, like I said, within them 6 months of me being on disability, my bills were being paid. Like I was still having my salary from the plant. And then I guess she saw the money coming in from the mowing, how quick I was making it, which turned out it was going to be a nice income. It was probably going to be more than I made at the plant.
So it really wasn't even a conversation. She just was like, you got to do it.
Yeah. Just, it really wasn't a conversation now thinking about it. It was just, this is what I'm going to do. And the money's there. And she knows I'm a hard worker, and she's the hardest working woman that I've ever met. So even if we fail at one thing, which she's never failed, I don't think, maybe even if I would fail at something, she knows I'm gonna do something else to make the income. I'm gonna work.
It's just in your nature.
Even if I gotta go dig a ditch, I'm gonna provide for my family. Yeah. They're gonna eat. They might not drive a Lamborghini, but they're gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So fast forward, I guess, now to where we are. What's happening right now in your business? You hit a plateau. You feel like you need to scale. Give us an update.
Like I said, last year, I got to the point, like I said, I was doing great financially. And I told my wife, I said, I think 2023 will be the best year for us in my landscaping side since I started focusing on that. And it was financially, as far as that part, because I started, like I said, I started getting into it and got out of my comfort zone. But then obviously you start thinking, is the phone going to keep ringing on these 10, 20, $15,000 jobs without marketing, without spending money on marketing, which as we just heard, most people are not going to do. It's scary. Obviously it works. I'm learning that. And I knew it was going to work. You still got to step out, like we were discussing last night. You got to step out and spend that money. Most people are not going to invest in themselves, like Michael was saying, which they should. Most people aren't. I was approached. Rewind that. Before that, I saw Michael. Let's go back to the Strickland report of Michael Strickland Construction. I did a couple of his jobs for his new construction, landscaped them. I think they were happy. I was happy. The price was, I went down. I think the price was a good price. I still made great profit margins. And I started thinking, when this guy's building a lot of houses and he's doing some other things, I want to be his landscape contractor. Because I know a couple other friends that I have own businesses, and a lot of them contractors get a landscape contractor and they'll stay with them, the same one, if they like them and the prices are good. So they get a lot of work if they're building a lot of houses. So, you know, it's a no-brainer. So I started thinking, a light bulb went off my head. I want to be this guy's landscape contractor. After the first 2 houses went through and I got paid and everything was great and everybody was happy. And like I said, I was happy with the price and the profits. So I approached him about I wanted to start doing your houses. Like I said, and he gave me them first 2 to see, I guess we were all happy. And obviously we were both happy on them. The whole time I was thinking in my head, this guy's got a fence company, a tree company. He's building houses, building a neighborhood. He's probably going to do some other things. He doesn't have a landscape company, which didn't make sense to me. It didn't. It was like, he has to have landscaping in every house. So why wouldn't he do his own landscaping first, or at least buy a landscaping company? That's what I kept thinking in the back of my mind. And before I even approached him, he approached me about going in partnership. We talked, made a deal. And ever since that day, well, about a couple weeks after that, life has changed financially. Not just financially, but professionally with the landscape business. Obviously, I did some commercials with y'all right away. Well, even in the same time frame after I called y'all, because I learned about y'all from him, obviously. From doing that to this today, and then to the jobs we have been doing, or he's been calling me on the look, I got a feeling like 2024 is going to be 10 times better than it was 2023. So that's where we're at, just from meeting the right person. It's crazy.
So within a few months now, you're in talks of partnering up with Strickland & Porter. You're going to be the exclusive landscape company. They're going to scale you. They're bringing on marketing. It's just going to completely transform your business.
Yes, and I can't say I wish I would have met Michael 15 years ago because he was a child, but
12-year-old. I'm sure he was still hustling then.
He probably would have been selling you something at 12 years old.
Same thing. I mean, yeah, but
yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish, as I'm about to be 47. So I wish, looking back, it'd have been cool 10 years ago to meet or to do this, but it is what it is.
And what's your why behind all of this? What's pushing you to continue to scale your business and your brand?
Before a couple of weeks ago, if I would have died or something would happen to me and I can't work, my business dies with me, which I'm sure so many small businesses, obviously that happens to. They die. I mean, the business dies. My wife's not going to do she can't do it. She has her own job. My kids are going another route, obviously. So my business dies with me. So I kept thinking about that. I said, what if, or not even dies, but what if I get hurt? I get in a car wreck. And I said, the next month or 2 after the contracts are paid that I have, the people are going to pay her, I'm sure. It's over. Which she's one of them women that she's not going to rely on a man. That's why she's worked so hard with her degrees. And so she's going to be fine, but that extra income is gone. And that's what I always knew I needed a partner to really scale, that knew what they were doing on the business side more than me, and marketing, and not scared to spend the money on marketing with y'all or with anybody else, and has the knowledge. But I also knew I needed a partner. I would have loved it if something does happen to me, that she gets a check. She'll still own half of that business, even if she's not doing the work. In some kind of fashion, she'll still get some money, and my kids. So that's a big deal to me.
And when you look for a partner, do you look for someone who is like-minded, someone who does something different than what you do? How do you find somebody to partner with?
I wasn't looking for a partner.
He just showed up.
Because I wouldn't even know who to look for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. And somebody has to have something to offer me, like I have to have something to offer them. I was approached a while back about somebody buying out everything, and it just didn't make sense financially. I mean, they wanted the whole thing. It wasn't enough for me to, because I love my job too. It wasn't enough for me to retire on. So I stepped aside, which I'm glad I did. I turned it down. I wasn't looking for a partner when I met Michael. Listening to him, watching what he does, and not just listening to his mouth, but actually watching what he does on a day-to-day, that changed everything. Because he can run his mouth, I can run my mouth, everybody can run their mouth, but if they're not doing it, it means nothing to me. But he actually runs his mouth and he does it. So, and I watched that. I studied him. So that's impressive. It's impressive if somebody calls me at 9 o'clock at night and they're at their office still. That's impressive to me. Almost nightly. Or I pass by and I see somebody's truck at their office. Like, why is their truck there? It's Sunday at 12 o'clock or it's 8:30 on a Friday night. Why are their trucks at their office? That's that's the person I want to be, or that's the person I want to be around. So when that conversation came up, it wasn't just, no, I'm gonna turn this down. It was like, I'm listening. And back in my mind, I'm like, unless it's a terrible offer, I'm gonna do this. It really wasn't about the money as far as at the moment. It was about the future. And I could see the future with him.
Love it.
I remember talking to you. You hired us. We worked together. We did some videos. And you're like, what do you think about Michael? And then Michael's on the other line a couple hours later. What do you think about Rusty? And it made sense. To me, seeing both of you, business people, you're both just freaking ninja workers. And you guys are really good about strategizing your businesses. And I thought, this is awesome. This makes sense. You guys do not miss this opportunity. It just made sense. And like you said, he's got Munson. He has all these properties. What you do amazing work. You're being really humble in this chair right now, talking to us, but seeing your work and how much pride you put into it as well. You're going back to the job sites even when you're finished, just to make sure that they're still intact to what you left them with. When your employees leave their shoots, when your employees leave the landscape, you're going out and you're observing, you're doing quality control. And I don't think a lot of landscapers do that. They're like, okay, next, burn and turn, let's go. But you really do care. And that's so rare, I think, in your line of work.
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. I had a phone call or text message about it. Somebody's plants died in the freeze. And so I said, I'll be there next week to look at them.
Yeah.
I mean, she said, or maybe tomorrow. She said, thank you. A lot of places like when they get there, you're going to be responsible for them plants. That's what they're going to tell her. I'm not. It's not that much. It's going to cost me $50 maybe. I'm just using that for example. I'm going to replace them plants next week. And she's going to be like, Rusty showed back up here. Replacing plants. And when she asked me how much I owe you, I'm going to say nothing. Now, if it's a whole flower bed, that's different.
How's your new partner feel about that?
I had 3 die at Lot 51.
Yeah, there we go. You actually did. I saw them.
Good thing that's in-house though.
Yeah. And I saw them.
SRP.
I rode by and saw them. I saw they died during the freeze and I didn't want to replace them yet because I didn't know if we were going to have another freeze.
If it's going to freeze again, right.
And going back to, really, that's the homeowner or their contractor's responsibility to cover them in a freeze. It's not mine unless you want to pay me for it.
Of course.
But something like his, I saw the other day and I said, if it's driving me nuts, I'm going to replace them.
Because it's your brand.
Yes. And like I said, we're not talking about, it's different if I'm going to lose $10,000. We're not. We're talking about a couple $100. But most, if not all contractors that I personally know in the big companies, they're going to, and that's fine. That's smart on their part, I guess. They're going to charge for that because they don't have that personal vibe or touch or connection with these people. But like I said, the client that just texted me, I said, I'll be there this week and I'm going to replace them. No problem.
That's where your
And
customer
she's going to try to pay me. I know she is because I know how she is. And I'm going to say, no, don't worry about it.
But see, she's going to tell her friends. Right. Now you're the first person that pops in her mind because she trusts you.
Right. I'm going to lose $50 tomorrow.
For what?
Well, technically,
I'm
not. Yeah, I'm
going to gain a bunch of more clients after that.
Yeah, I'm going to lose
trust.
$50 in my pocket and I'm fine with that.
A lot of businesses don't think that way.
Right. Obviously, if that's on a major scale, it starts adding up. But still, I like that customer. I like that personal touch.
You want to keep that relationship because you're going to have a repeat customer. She's just not a number to you anymore. You know?
I actually care. That's why I do like going around looking at jobs. Like I said, I know everything's not going to be perfect at all times, but I like to I was telling the client the other day before we were going to start landscaping his yard this week, and I said, listen, I'm really big on customer satisfaction. When I come out and do this job, I want to know immediately. Please tell me if something's not right. And, I'm going to make it right. I said, it's really big for me. When I ride by here next month, or when I'm going down the road to somebody else's house and I pass your house, I want to make sure it's still, I want to be able to tell somebody I did that without a sign in your yard. I want, and I'm not going to tell you somebody that if
If it looks like crap,
It looks like crap. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
turn their head the other way. Oh, what's
Right.
that? As you go by.
I didn't do that yard. Joe Blow did that.
Yeah.
So it's
That was
huge-
DNL.
Right, yes,
SRP
DNL.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
And back to that, obviously we have changed. It was DNL lawn care.
How'd you get DNL?
I still have DNL's Drew and London, my kids.
Mhm.
I still have DNL lawn care, but the new venture is going to be SRP landscaping, which is Strickland Rusty Porter landscaping with Michael.
All the partners.
Yeah.
All your partner
All my
names.
partners. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going to be the new company. Same Rusty, same Michael, obviously.
Different Chris. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. different name. But everything's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the new branding. I'm really excited about this year. I told somebody the other day in his office, we were talking. I said, have you ever sat down at a moment in your life and said, I don't want to fast forward time, obviously, but I wish right now I could go into 12 months later today.
See where we are.
Just see, because I'm that excited, just to see where we're at.
That's a good
They're like,
excitement.
yeah, that's true. I said, I just can't wait. I can't wait for next January, let's just say, just to see where we're at with our business.
Me
I mean,
too.
You're about
Super
to
excited.
launch off like a rocket right now because
Yeah.
SRP is coming off the ground. Follow social media, website, Zachary local baseball, football, basketball games. Like you're going to see SRP everywhere now. That's going to be the new big brand.
And then obviously partnering with him, you told me a couple weeks ago when we talked, get ready. It's going to go fast. And I don't know if I think I shared this with y'all. I don't know if I shared this, but the other day I was finishing a job with DNL, trying to get ready for our partnership with SRP. And it was a nice job, landscaping job for a bank. And literally I needed to be done Friday. I wanted to be done Friday. It was right before February, first week of February when we're starting with SRP. So I wanted to finalize that as my last big job to finish. And I finally had to tell Michael to stop calling me. I said, I have to finish this job. Please stop calling me.
1 second. He's never done
I
this
don't know.
before.
Just let him in.
Yeah, because he misses me.
He does. He loves you.
Yeah, but now he thinks that's
Just let him in. Okay. Go ahead.
Because they kept calling me to look at other jobs for SRP that are we're about to start on and bidding and all this. And I said, Jesus. Every time I got to this job to plan a plant, let's just say my phone rang. Hey, can you be at this address? So when? Well, I'm on my way now. I said,
That's Michael.
okay, let me stop. And then let me go look at oh yeah, and by the way, you got to stop over here and look at this job. So I started thinking, damn,
Careful what you wish for.
yeah, you're right. And then I kept thinking about to what you said about get ready. You're about to go fast. You know, it's going to go fast or hard or whatever you said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I kept thinking about. I said, what have I got myself into? That's what I was thinking about the other day. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I want, obviously, and I'm very grateful, and I know I'm truly blessed. And I had a moment in my mind, what am I got myself into? Not against Michael, but just the work, what's about to happen. So finally, that Friday, I called her. He called me. He was calling me about jobs and all this stuff, and I said, seriously, stop calling me because every time you call me, I'm gonna answer. I have to finish this job
Gotta
today.
get you a Bluetooth.
Right. And I don't want to talk.
You
Let
need
me
to be
finish.
focused.
He wants me to go somewhere else. It's not about phone calls, just talking. I said, seriously, I need you to stop. I'm looking at these plants. I have to finish them. I'm by myself because other guys are doing other jobs that
And
day.
he probably thought, we need to get someone to do that so you could be with me.
Well, that's going to eventually what's going to have to happen. But it was so funny. I said, please stop calling me. I have to finish the job. I'm not answering no more. It went 30 minutes later. My phone rings again. I said, I thought I told you to stop calling me.
And he laughed.
He laughed. And we're talking about work. And I want to say, after I told him that, it was 5 times he called me.
Uh-huh.
I said, you have literally called me more since I told you to stop calling me than on a normal day. And he's laughing the whole time, like, stop calling me. It's getting dark. This job has to be finished today. It's the last day of the week. I want to finish for this bank before we go into partnership. I didn't want him getting under that money. Let's just be honest.
You're right.
What do you say?
just have to stay ready.
What does he say?
Yeah, I told him, I said, this is not how this relationship works. I tell you, stop calling me, you keep calling me. This is not normal.
What does he say?
This is abuse, Michael.
No.
What does he say when you first answer the phone? What are the words out of his mouth?
I need you to come look at this job right now.
No, so what else? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, and
What are you doing?
And I start thinking, well, he's not calling like, what am I doing? Hey, can you come meet over here next Wednesday at 1:00? He's like, I need you to come now. Or can you come now?
You know what's funny is that sounds very familiar. That heads up. You are sitting in this chair right now because we found out you were an hour and a half away.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
You knew that you were coming to Florida, but we didn't know you were coming to Florida.
We're in the middle of a podcast. He
I didn't know
calls.
till 10:00 yesterday.
We didn't know until you were at
10:00
Buc-ee's.
yesterday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew at 10:00 yesterday morning. Hey, what you doing? Or
What are you doing?
taking care of obviously my son, dogs, my family, whatever.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, well, we got to go to Florida and I can't go next week, which obviously just works out better for me to go ahead and come. But I said, wait, tomorrow? He said, no, today. I said, well, I need a couple of hours. I got to line up some guys for work for tomorrow and all that good stuff. So needless to say, a couple hours later, 12:30, 1:00, we're in the truck.
Fending for your life, of course.
Spending from my life on the drive. That's another story.
Keep you on the edge of your seat in
right.
work and life.
I want to talk a little personal, if you don't mind, just a few more minutes. And you can go in as deep as you want or be on the surface. But you showed me a picture earlier today of you. Talk a little bit about your personal life, how you got to here, the mindset it took, kind of the struggles that you've had to face.
That's another thing. I think about that a lot personally. If I think about all the stuff I'm not a victim, but the stuff I put myself through personally and the stuff I have went through and put myself through, like I said, there's probably nothing I can't do. I've stopped drinking. I've stopped doing drugs. I stopped smoking after 26 years. I went on vacation one time at the beach and I was miserable. And I said, I've gained too much weight.
How much did you gain?
My weight fluctuates a lot. It's weird.
What's the heaviest you'd ever been?
That picture, 286.
Mm-hmm.
286.
At my height.
What do you weigh right now?
That's very unhealthy. Like a size 44 waist. And I told my wife that
Big dude.
Kathy said, you didn't have a 40. I said, yes, I did. I remember that because I was like, when I saw that, I was like, something's got to change. I'm not going to be alive. And I was young.
What do you weigh right now? Ish.
170-ish.
So 200.
Yeah, well,
120 pounds on us.
I came home from the vacation. I was working at the plants a long time ago. I came home to vacation. I said, I'm going on a diet. And obviously everybody says that, and it's easier said than done. But I went for 4 or 6 months. I weighed myself at the plant every day at Exxon on a big old scale they had. I don't know what they were weighing it for, but it was a huge scale, and I weighed myself every day. And I went on a diet, and I went from 286 to 192 that fast. And everybody thought at the time I was like on drugs. Like, what are you
cocaine
doing?
or
No, I'm not. I'm completely sober. I don't think I was drinking at the time. With nothing. Like no diet, nothing. I was committed. I'm going to lose weight. Now, obviously, I lost that weight. It went right back up later on because I just got off of that. But it taught me that and everything else that I can do whatever I want to do. Really, I really can. If I, smoke cigarettes for 26 years and one day you just put them down. That's a hard thing to do. Most people can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I could do it. That's why I never tried to quit. Like I said, it's been almost 6 years. July will be 6 years. Yeah, since I haven't smoked. That and going to the cemeteries the first day. I was telling Michael this the other day or somebody else how overwhelming it was the first day I got there. I said, wait a minute. We have to weed eat around, not me personally, but my guys, I'm responsible. We have to weed eat 20,000 headstones every single week. It's really overwhelming when you first get there.
It's just saying it.
And you're a whole nother higher standard than mowing somebody's yard or a commercial account to working for the government. They're watching you. It's a big deal. I mean, they can go out there, they got in the contracts, 144 page contracts, how high the grass has to be. And I mean, it's a strict contract. So I was really overwhelmed, but I did it. And I still do it to this day. I said 10 and a half years. That and with the other struggles that I've put myself through in my life.
How'd you overcome all that?
God, Kathy and the kids, Drew in London. I guess just wanting to change, I guess. I don't even have an answer for that. Help, support, friends, just wanting to change. So if I can overcome all that, like I said, when it comes to work, there's nothing I can't do.
Mhm.
Like we're bidding on the big job. It's going to be huge for me personally. It's going to be huge for both of us. It'll be the biggest landscape job I've ever done. I've talked to some people about the plants that we're buying. If we can get the job, when we get the job, it's a huge order. A lot of them said the big companies came and feel that it's huge.
Mhm.
It's big bragging rights to get it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm praying we get it.
You'll get it.
It's very overwhelming,
Mhm.
but I know we can do it. Especially with his help. I would have never bid it on myself without his help. So that's a big deal. Obviously having a partner. Going back to the partner thing, how do you know about your partner? I would have never bid it. I would have never even thought about that job before him. He brought it to me.
He goes and looks for deals every
He
day.
looks for deals.
Who's got my money?
He didn't say, "Can we do this?"
Uh-huh.
He said, "Let's bid it."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You
now
tighten up a minute for a second.
but now I'm kind of getting scared. We're going to get it. That's how my mind works.
But you got to
Uh-huh.
think back to the first cemetery where you're like,
That's why I roll back to that. If I can do that, I can do it. It's going to be okay. Let's just get the contract first.
and now
Let's
you
not
got
worry
more
about-
backing in him to be like, we'll figure it out.
Right. Let's not worry about the contract. Let's get it first.
I think all businesses and all people go through that state in their mind where there's a little bit of doubt that creeps in. No matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, it creeps in. And it's a matter of if you're going to take that and run with that story, or if you're going to say, no, that's just a story. We can do this. And I think that's what separates people in success and people who hold themselves back.
In their
100%.
comfort
You
zone.
listen to your voice. Yeah. We were just listening. You sent me that Uberman thing this morning. I keep saying, do hard things, do hard things. When you train yourself to do hard things on a daily basis, I believe, and then that hard thing actually appears in your life, your mind is trained. It's not really that hard. I've done harder things. Like you were saying, you've been through struggles and I know you probably want to keep some of that private, but I feel like what you've shared with us, you've been through struggles that people can only imagine. Those are hard things.
100%.
Bidding on a job, you've got this,
It's really not when you think about the grand scheme.
Mhm.
It's not. And then what worst case scenario, we get it.
right?
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
When I hear him say, "We'll just figure it out," I mean, some people are probably like, "It's not that simple,"
But it is, right?
but it is.
But it is.
It really is.
I know.
It really is. It's just if you're not in that mindset, you can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
And
Our
a
little
couple
fickle
months
brain.
ago, I was in that mindset too. A couple months ago.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, let's get the contract or a big job, and then we're going to worry about how we're going to do it.
Right.
Let's just get it. Let's
Get
stop
it.
worrying about it. Let's just get it.
Yeah.
Because if we don't get it, there's no point talking about it. Just
Exactly.
get it, and it will work out one way or another.
Mhm.
So
I love
I'm
it.
excited.
We're excited for
Yeah.
you guys. We can't wait to see what happens in those 12 months, and we'll recap here in a year and just see.
Yeah, I can't
Right.
wait.
It'll be fun to talk about it.
February of 2020, February 1st of 2025. I
Mhm.
can't wait to see where we're at. I really
Same.
can.
And you might end up with, some work out here in Florida
Mine.
in
Yeah.
front of our house.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
All
I'm
right.
super excited.
Cool. All right. Well, SRP, landscaping, everything,
Thanks for
You're-
having me.
Look up Rusty, especially
Baton
in the Zachary
Rouge.
area, in Baton Rouge area.
Mhm.
Cool.
Take
Thank you.
over. Thank
It's
you.
all out.
We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.